but I have come to believe that the Bible is right when it says the kingdom suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. I have come to learn that if you don't take it by force, you won't take it at all. The fair weather Johnny-come-lately saints who sit in the cut and wait for good things to happen spend years, and life passes them by because they are not aggressive enough to seize the things that God has for them.
Someone said, well, I don't understand how God touched Saul of Tarsus because he sure wasn't hungry. Did you know that sometimes people that oppose God the most are the hungriest searching for God? That's why they oppose God in the way that they do, because Saul was looking for the truth. He was looking for reality. And I'm telling you right now, his anger against the church of the day, his anger against the church at that time, as he was breathing out threatenings, really was not an anger against the church, but was an anger against Almighty God. That really, I believe in his heart of hearts, he was really trying to dare God. He was really trying to put God to the test. And I'll tell you what, right now, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew. I'm telling you right now, because as he was on his way, as he was on the road, as he's riding down the road on his horse, and Jesus came and stood in front of him, and he fell to the ground. I'm telling you, he heard the voice from heaven, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, who art thou, Lord? He asked the question, but he answered it in the same sentence, because it was so awesome that he knew it could only be one. This is the one I'm looking for. Who art thou, Lord? I am Jesus, whom you persecute. I'll tell you what, he had a head-on collision that day that totally transformed his life. Now you say, why did God touch Saul of Tarsus? Because I don't think there's anybody in this place that's worse than Saul of Tarsus. And God is trying to tell people, if I could take Saul of Tarsus, the lowly of the low, I could take anybody in this house and I could touch him. I could set him free. I could put my fire on the inside of them. Saul of Tarsus, who went on to go and write 2/3 of the New Testament. Oh, what a transformation. Now known as the Apostle Paul, as Saint Paul.
Life demands that a man have a certain amount of strength and a certain amount of aggression, and even nature teaches that a man should be aggressive. The moment his body begins to secrete a hormone called testosterone, it causes him to have a more aggressive disposition. Even in little boys, you see them becoming more aggressive. It's hard to harness this energy that begins to rise up in the masculine soul, because he has that innate God-given tenacity that makes him want to conquer. And there ought to be something in a man that makes him a conqueror, something secreting in his genes and coming up out of his spirit. And when I say genes, I'm not talking about Levi's. Something coming up out of his spirit that causes him to be strong and relentless and tenacious about the things he goes after.
Touch your neighbor and say, look at me. I don't look like what I've been through. If I told you what I've been through, it would blow your mind. If I told you about the hell I had to face, if I told you about my wilderness, you wouldn't even believe it. Look at me. Run over and touch somebody and say, I'm still here. Cancer didn't get me. Leukemia didn't get me. Diabetes didn't destroy me. The witch didn't hex me. The haters didn't get me. I am still here. Anybody can be great for a minute. Right. Anybody can be strong for a moment. But to have survived years, 40 years, they've been wearing the same pair of shoes. God sustained you. There are people in this room been through all kinds of stuff. Divorces, deaths, traumas, adversities, rejection, heartache, pain, trauma, abuse, surgeries, misfortune, dysfunctional families, crisis on the right, crisis on the left, crisis over here, crisis over there.